What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. It's the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Nick Whalen, Alex Barutha hanging out with you as we have been and will continue to do every Monday throughout the NBA season. Alex, a lot to get to today. This is always a really fun episode, especially early in the season when we're feeling out, a lot of these trends, a lot of these rotations, some injuries starting to stack up for some very important teams of mine in particular. We got 9 games on the slate tonight. Some really fun ones. Myles Turner going back to Indiana. Hopefully a Norm Powell revenge game against the Clippers if he is indeed cleared to play. But I want to start with a little waiver wire recap. You and I play in a couple common leagues where we're always competing for the same guys. I know we both came up short trying to grab Russell Westbrook. I knew there would be a point this season where I would be looking to add Russell Westbrook. I didn't think it would be week 2 of the season.
I didn't think so either. And I did not find myself thinking I should grab him. But we are in this league that we're in is 15 teams. And even if people are in 12-team leagues, I think he should probably just be added. Especially because there are going to be people who are dealing with a lot of injuries like you are in that league. And I mean, Malik Monk's been out, right? Levine is questionable tonight. Schroeder's questionable tonight. But even when Levine comes back and assuming they have their full rotation, it seems like Westbrook's going to play basically 6-man minutes, and he's been putting up stats.
Yeah, I believe Zach LaVine is officially good to go tonight. Westbrook always does this, right? We're going on like year 7 of Russell Westbrook, like touring around the NBA. Seems like nobody wants him, and then wherever he ends up playing enough minutes to be relevant. And he's obviously going to hurt you at the free throw line. The field goal percentage is going to be a disaster. But if you need the counting stats, if you need the steals, he's going to give you those. And we'll see. You always try to time the market on Russell Westbrook. He was somebody I kind of reluctantly put in a bid on. It was like, if I get him, I get him. I'm not making him my top priority. But to continue with waiver wire, you've been putting out great threads every day, especially to help people in daily leagues. Most added, most drop players, and you highlighted Jake LaRavia, Quinton Jackson, and Terrence Mann making an appearance on the list today.
Yeah, I'll skip over the Mann one. I mean, that's really just a streamer. Like Brooklyn's on a 4-game week, and he's been hot shooting, and their rotation is a disaster. So it's like, you can add him and stream him in.
Yeah.
LaRavia, I mean, he's shooting 60%, so that's going to come down. And I tried to mention that, and he's averaging 16, 7, and 3 over the past 5. That's going to be like 11, 7, and 3 when he starts shooting normally. But I think the main thing you can take away from LaRavia, especially, is that Redick clearly trusts him and like wants him to play big minutes in the rotation, and that he's looked strong.
I mean, the Lakers went out and got him for a reason. There seems to be some chemistry with Austin Reeves already. He still put up numbers even with Luka back over the weekend. I like that one quite a bit. DeAndre Ayton currently banged up, didn't play on Sunday night. He's questionable. So, maybe that kind of forces LA to get a little bit more creative, going small at center. And obviously no LeBron James for who knows how long. They're saying mid-November at this point. So probably got 2 more weeks of LaRavia hanging around in that rotation. But we'll see. Could be a ramp-up period for LeBron. Sciatica is one of those things you don't necessarily just fully move on from. Who else were you grabbing in your other leagues? I made a few pretty sad additions that I'm not necessarily proud of in some leagues. Colin Gillespie, I think, was the high man in the stake league, went for $31. I had a bid in. It was nowhere near $31.
I think I may have had a bid in, also not for that much. Who did I add? I did add LaRavia in one league. I threw out bids on a ton of guys in the 15-team league that we're in because I was like, I had an empty roster spot and I had Brook Lopez to drop. So there were some guys even like Shaedon Sharpe and some other. I threw in a bid for Quinton Jackson, who you mentioned earlier, as like, he's been stepping up for the Pacers when Andrew Nembhard's been out. I don't think Fears was available in that league, but Jeremiah Fears obviously a massive add in many leagues.
Yep. I think he was taken last week in that league specifically, but a lot of 10 and 12 teamers very much out there. Part of the reason I backed off Gillespie as far as just really going with a keep him honest bid that was nowhere close is we're probably going to see Jalen Green at some point this week. And if not this week, next week. Dillon Brooks has missed 4 games in a row. Like what kind of utility are we looking at with Colin Gillespie? Like what does his role look like when those 2 guys are back, specifically Green?
That's been my question and why I didn't go crazy on a bid. The thing is, I mean, he's played really well, and when you watch the games, like, I think he deserves to be in the rotation and be playing 20 to 25 minutes a game. It would
Yeah.
shock me if he suddenly stopped playing that amount of minutes. On the other hand, the usage is the concern, like you alluded to. You
Yeah.
know, it's like Dillon Brooks was launching 20 shots a game before he got hurt. Like Jalen Green's gonna come in, he's gonna want to take his 15 to 20
Yeah.
shots a game and handle the ball. So I think Gillespie may end up being like this is like the easiest comp in the world to make, but he's gonna end up being like TJ McConnell in fantasy, where
Yeah.
it's like if you're in a 12 teamer, you can have him as the last spot on your bench, and on 4 game weeks, you can play him, and pretty much
Mhm.
not many other times.
It's a good comp for obvious reasons, but I think that does hold up pretty well. The assists have been there. You know, he's a better 3-point shooter certainly than McConnell as well. So you would hope that that volume can maintain. Quinton Jackson, Max Christie, Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal were some other notable pickups in this league. Again, it's a 15-teamer, so you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like I was thrilled to land Keldon Johnson for a 3-game week. That's the position I'm in right now.
He's been good.
He has.
I mean, he is one of those guys where I haven't checked his box scores lately, but when you watch a Spurs play, he really stands out. Like he's
Yeah.
playing really hard. Very good offensive rebounder for them, and had a really good game last night when
Yep.
Wembanyama had one of the worst games of his career, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Keldon Johnson is, you know, you're just hoping you get like 13 points, 6 rebounds. You know, there's really not going to be much there in terms of assists. If he does anything defensively, that's great. He's got 3 total steals, no blocks on the year, but just kind of like a floor play to throw out there as a streamer in deeper leagues. We'll hit some questions in the chat in a moment, but just want to remind you that we're brought to you this week by Vivid Seats. The NBA is back. Don't just catch it on the couch. Lock in your seat this season with the Vivid Seats app, where your score the lowest price tickets guaranteed. That's right. Vivid Seats is introducing their new lowest price guarantee. So you know you're getting the best deal all season long. Seriously, we dare you. Try to find a cheaper ticket. Best of luck doing that. Every dunk, every drive, every jaw-dropping play of your favorite team, live and in person. And here's the clincher. When you buy with the Vivid Seats app, you rack up rewards and free credits. Talk about a clutch home court advantage. And if that wasn't enough, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase. Just use our code ROTOWIRE, ROTOWIRE. So step into the NBA season like a pro. Download the Vivid Seats app. Get the best deal in the game with the best prices. Terms apply. Again, put in that code ROTOWIRE, ROTOWIRE. Do that over on Vivid Seats. You get $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase. As always, got some really good questions stacking up in the chat. We'll start off with Dan. He says, is Ace Bailey a hold? He was projected to be the starting shooting guard before the illness and the double knee tendonitis. Jazz seem to be slowly ramping up his minutes.
I'm pretty sure that league that I added Jake LaRavia, I dropped Ace Bailey for him.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think if you've been holding this long, I would maybe think about continuing to hold him because of the Walker Kessler injury, and maybe that opens up some more rebounds and some more usage. Didn't love that Bailey only played 19 minutes against the Hornets, but that was like a complete blowout. I think there was 9 minutes ish of garbage time in that game.
Yep.
But it's pretty bad so far. I don't blame you for dropping him.
Yeah, it's tough because we got the tease in the preseason, you know, those 2 big games of, you know, starting to wonder like, oh, is he maybe a little bit further ahead of schedule? And yeah, the Jazz have been more competitive than I expected so far. A couple of solid wins. You know, Markkanen's playing really well. They are getting Isaiah Collier back tonight as well. Not that there's much position overlap, but just kind of another guy to distribute minutes in that rotation. The Kessler thing is big. Not that Bailey's going to play center, but you know, you look at where his minutes have come so far. About 15% at shooting guard, 15% at power forward, 71% at small forward. So, you know, again, it's one of those like, yeah, he's not going to go play center, but if you're taking 28 to 32 minutes out of the rotation, maybe some of that trickles down. He's somebody I would like to hold, ideally, not somebody I'd be interested in starting right now in just about any size league. I don't think you can really justify that, but he's pretty high on the list of guys you drop week 2 and then 6 weeks later, you're regretting that.
The thing is, you know, looking at our at least our per 36 projections we had for him, we're pretty on in terms of like the usage rate that we thought he would get and his rebounding and his passing. Like that's all been good. It's just the minutes haven't been there and he hasn't been shooting well, and maybe some of that is the knee tendonitis. And honestly, I mean the Jazz, they're just playing really heavily through Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, and as we mentioned before, Walker Kessler. And there's just not always a lot of other usage to go around for the other guys on this team.
Would you trade Myles Turner for OG Anunoby in a 9-cat league? So selling maybe a little bit high on OG, buying low potentially on Myles Turner.
I think I would be fine with that. Yeah, I mean Turner's going to be better, but the Bucks are not exactly like featuring him heavily in the offense. They're using him mostly as a floor spacer, like in the sense that they're also using Gary Trent Jr. as a floor spacer. So I think I would prefer Anunoby.
I would too. Unless you really need the center eligibility, I guess that could be the key. But yeah, I think I would rather have OG. I mean, well over half of Turner's field goal attempts are coming from 3, so that's kind of dictating the scoring upside night to night. You know, there's somewhat of like a hedge situation, I guess. Like if Giannis misses time, if he sits out a game, if they trade Giannis, you know, obviously you'd feel better about Turner rest of the season. But I think it's probably a little bit too early to start thinking about that. So I would much rather have Anunoby so far. Anthony says, hey guys, hope you had a good weekend. You as well. Was wondering if I should hold Dante DiVincenzo and Quinton Grimes, or should I make them streaming spots in a 12-teamer?
I think I would hold Grimes.
Oh, yeah.
Grimes has been awesome. We still don't really know what's going on with Paul George. I'm just not ready to drop Grimes until I actually see Paul George play like 3 games in a row. That's kind of how I would put it.
I would just say I'd like to see him play any games, and right. Even then, I don't think I'm dropping Grimes.
And I know I think you're rostering some DiVincenzo somewhere.
Yeah, not as much as I would like. I think that the news came down that he was going to be the starting point guard as we were doing one of the auctions a couple weeks ago, and I, you know, in retrospect, wish I would have paid up a little bit more for him. In a 12-teamer, I just don't know if you're going to do a whole lot better than DiVincenzo. You know, if we're saying that he's the more streamable spot, I think he's played pretty well. You know, he's giving you high volume threes. I know everybody's giving you high volume threes. He's got at least 1 steal in every game. The assists have been there for the most part. It's a 4-game week for Minnesota. So, you know, of course it depends who's out there for you, but if these are your 2 worst players, you're doing okay.
Yep.
All right, here's a good one for you, Alex, from Lewis. Would you guys entertain Sarr for Edgecombe in a dynasty league?
I mean, I would, if you're asking, I would much rather have Edgecombe, if that's a question.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we're trading away Edgecombe in this spot, but yeah, and this is coming from the Sarr guy, Alex Barutho.
And Sarr's been pretty good, and I think he was massively underrated coming into the season, and I think he'll end up being very good, and he has been pretty good this. I mean, his minutes still aren't there, which is something I would like to see more of, but Sarr, which nobody is talking about because nobody has to talk about the Wizards, but per 36, he's averaging 22, 11, and 5 with 3 blocks. He's been awesome. He's shooting 53% from the field. But Edgecombe looks like a potential like superstar in the NBA. And I don't think that's anything Sarr can become.
Yeah. I think it's almost more interesting if you're just asking rest of this season, you know, then maybe it's Sarr. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at like a potential Donovan Mitchell type of player in VJ Edgecombe. Here's a somewhat of a trade question. Got offered Karl Anthony Towns and Kawhi Leonard for Evan Mobley and Cooper Flagg. Just a statement.
I think I would rather have Cat and Kawhi. I mean, I hate being the guy who's like, yeah, bring Kawhi Leonard onto my team. But also Cooper Flagg, he's played fine. He's had some up and down games, right? The shooting still isn't there.
Yeah.
But I think I'd rather have Cat and Kawhi.
I think so too. You know, Cat's been a little bit up and down. The defensive production with Mobley is obviously really appealing. You know, Flagg has looked a little bit better of late, but I think the floor games for Flagg are still going to be pretty low. The Kawhi piece, it's just how comfortable are you rostering Kawhi is what it comes down to. Like if you think Kawhi can play 65 games, then I think it's pretty easily Cat and Kawhi for me. You know, Flagg's like not even a top 100 guy, and maybe he'll get there over the course of the season. He probably will. But you got 2 like potential top 15ers in Cat and Kawhi, top 20, depending on Kawhi's health. So if you're on the Cat and Kawhi side of this, I would try to hold Kawhi until later in the season. And then, you know, when his body tends to break down later, you know, maybe you can get out from under that. Hey guys, thanks for all you do. You're welcome. Dropped Brooks for Collier. So do you think that's a good pickup in a 12-team 9-cat league? I assume this is Dillon Brooks, not Marshawn Brooks.
Yeah, I'm not sure Dillon Brooks will necessarily be a hold when Jalen Green is back on that roster.
Yeah.
Brooks been pretty good with steals, so maybe they'll continue, but we'll see. In terms of Collier, I saw we got a couple Collier questions in the
Yep.
chat. I think Keontae George is playing far too well for him to give up any meaningful minutes to Isaiah Collier. I mean,
Okay.
Keontae George is averaging 22 and 9 right now. And the shooting percentages are like not great. He's only shooting 25% from three, but he's 9 free throw attempts a game. I mean, he's just I think he's been great. I'm not sure Collier will be a 12-team guy this season.
Yeah, I still don't mind taking the shot here just because I just don't think there's a whole lot there with Dillon Brooks for what you just laid out. Once Jalen Green is back, maybe you're getting a higher floor night to night with Brooks, but I don't see you like really regretting like, man, I can't believe I gave up on Dillon Brooks after 7 games. But yeah, we'll monitor that with Collier. I mean, could be kind of a soft debut for him. Like, I don't think they're going to hand him a ton of minutes right away. It might not be another couple weeks until we have a full understanding of that rotation. All right. Alan says, is Dereck Lively a drop in a 12-teamer?
That's tough. So he's got a right knee sprain. He's missed
Yep.
the past 3. He's not going to play tonight. And even before that, he was fine, but he was only playing 17 minutes a game.
Right.
His per minute stats look great as they always do. I don't hate the idea of dropping him because his role wasn't that big and he just can't stay healthy.
I feel like he was also better with Luka. Like, I felt better about his just general night to night upside with Luka than post Luka. And I mean, this Mavs team has been pretty bad so far. I mean, AD's injured. It's kind of tough timing with Lively himself getting hurt because maybe there would be more opportunity in the short term. But yeah, I think you're right on that one. He's somebody you'll probably add and drop a couple times throughout the season. All right. Would you bless a Jaren Jackson Jr. for a Amen Thompson trade? Both are underperforming, but which one has more of a ceiling the rest of the way? It's a 12-team category league.
Wow, that is tough.
Yeah.
I think Amen still does have more ceiling. And honestly, some of this Grizzlies stuff,
it's not
I
good.
don't love to hear it. Morant getting suspended for like actually giving up during the Lakers game and just walking around, which I was watching live. It was kind of crazy. But it's not like Jackson's been playing amazingly either. I might rather have Amen, even though he's playing worse. I think Amen is a good buy low for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty rough start for Thompson, and yet he's coming off of 18, 9, and 7 with 2 steals, 17, 9, and 8. I think we had maybe too high of expectations for the defensive production. Just thinking that this was going to be like Dyson Daniels crossed with Walker Kessler every single night, and those stats are just a little bit flukier, especially the blocks. But I think these last 2 games have been really encouraging. The minutes have been there. I would rather chance it on Amen. I mean, with Jaren Jackson, this is now going to be 4 straight years where he's regressed in a big way as a shot blocker. I think we're still remembering that, what was it, like 2022 season when he averaged 3 blocks per game. I mean, we got a sample of like well over 100 games at this point of him just not being that guy.
Yeah, they just don't play him at center anymore.
Right.
They've completely just given up the idea of Jaren Jackson Jr. at center, and that doesn't help.
It's just like he's like a younger Brook Lopez almost in some ways, where it's like, all right, you're going to get a bunch of threes that ultimately are going to harm his field goal percentage a little bit. He's a good, but not really plus free throw shooter. He's now like a 1 to maybe 1.5 blocks per game guy. He doesn't rebound. He doesn't give you assists. Like, I just don't.
He turns the ball over more than he assists.
Right.
Like, it's just, he's
maddening
just
player to watch, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. All right. Got a couple other Isaiah Collier questions. We did hit that. Let's see. Here's a good one. How much of an improvement is coming for Cam Johnson, if any? He's been on my disappointments list so far.
Yeah. I think the main issue for him is the usage.
Yeah.
He just, especially, it would be one thing if it was, it's worse when you watch Denver because you just forget he's out there.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of turned into that guy where he's just out there running around, and I don't honestly expect it to get that much better. He'll shoot better for sure, but
Yeah, that's the thing.
usage-wise, I don't know.
He's going to shoot better, and that's going to help. But so is that going to move him from 8.2 points per game to 16? No, it'll put him at, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 points per game, and maybe ultimately that's fine. I think comparing him to excuse me, the last season in Brooklyn is not really fair, just because of how that team was built. Like Cam Johnson's not really a like number 2 option type of guy, and that's kind of how he was used in Brooklyn. I thought we might get closer to to Phoenix in 2021, because that's kind of a closer 1-to-1 as far as his role on that team. And he was shooting 43% from 3, 46% from the field, only 12.5 points per game. Like I think he can get back to that level.
His usage, well, this is the lowest usage rate of his career. It's down almost 10% from last year. It's his usage rate is very, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at assists included usage rate is essentially the same as his first 3 seasons in Phoenix. And sort of his best season there was, you alluded to it, but he's playing 26 minutes per game, which is what he's playing right now. And he averaged 13, 4, and 2.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would entertain dropping him, honestly, but I would maybe try to trade him first for someone who is like a Cam Johnson optimist. Yeah,
I think there's still enough name value with Cam Johnson. Everybody's excited about the fit in Denver that I would even if you end up accepting, a relatively low return, I would go that route first. Jaime Jaquez, sell high, or do we have something here rest of season?
I think we have a little something here. Miami redid their offense, and Jaquez, for whatever reason, seems to be literally the perfect man for it. And another guy, sort of like the Jake LaRavia, there are other guys. They're shooting 60% from the field right now. Jaime Jaquez, 64% actually from the field, and he's not shooting any threes. He's just been all downhill. He's drawing a ton of fouls. He is a sell high. I think if you could get, I don't know, if you can get a top 75 projected rest of season guy for him, I think you just do that.
I think so too. I mean, it's tough because I think what we've seen is fairly real. Like, this doesn't just feel like an all-time heater to start the year. You're right about the Heat just completely changing their style, being this pace-up team that has helped him. I also don't think it's a coincidence that his 2 biggest games have come without Powell and obviously without Tyler Hero. So I think that would be the concern, is where are we at a month from now when Powell's presumably back healthy and Hero's back in the mix?
Yes, it will not be as good. Yeah, so he is a sell high.
All right, one more on the Heat here from Daniel. Hey guys, what are your thoughts on Kel'el Ware?
It's tough right now. He just basically got benched during the Lakers game.
Yep.
And does not seem, like we alluded to, the Miami's playing this very up-tempo sort of like pass, cut, move sort of an offense, and Ware just does not seem to fit into it. And even honestly, sometimes Bam looks lost in it.
Yeah.
So I would do everything I can, honestly, to hold Ware, because he does have so much, per game, per minute upside. But if you're if you're near the bottom of your standings, you probably have to drop him, because you just need production.
Are you getting some Christian Wood vibes here?
Oh, wow.
Right?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not ready to say that yet, but I think that's actually, it worries me how much that kind of hit home. Yeah.
All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll hit some more questions from the chat later in the show. We're also brought to you by Sling TV. Tired of paying for live TV you don't watch? With Sling, you could get all the live sports, news, and entertainment you want, only when you want it. Get your hands on Sling's day, week, or weekend passes starting at just $4.99. Get over 30 of your favorite channels for the best price, and stop overpaying for full-time live TV plans. Sling has a pass for any occasion. Big game tonight? Grab a day pass for just $4.99. Want a full week of live TV for one low price? You can get a 7-day week pass. For all those weekend watchers out there, you can enjoy live sports, news, and entertainment from Friday morning to Sunday night with a weekend pass. Only Sling lets you watch when you want, so you only pay for what you watch. Get live TV for the day, the week, or the weekend, your choice, all for a great price. Watch live TV on your terms, starting at just $4.99. Sling lets you do that. use the link below. You can find that in the description on YouTube, in the description if you're listening in podcast form. Go check out that link. Sign up for Sling TV right now. All right, Alex, we'll get back to the chat, hit some more questions as the show rolls along. But I want to talk about, some of the early breakouts, some guys we might be panicking on. We've hit a few of those names already. But I put together a list of guys I'm officially worried about. Jaren Jackson Jr. on that list. Kel'el Ware on that list. John Morant definitely on that list.
Yeah, the game against the Lakers was alarming. He clearly gave up, and then in the locker room basically said, like, if the coaches think they'd be better off without me on the floor, then maybe they should just pull me. And it's like, okay, well, have fun not playing in the next game, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm worried about him too. And it's not even so much from an on-court perspective because he's been like mostly fine.
Yeah.
But the vibes, you get your coach fired, and then the new guy who you sort of give your blessing, now you hate.
Yeah.
And it's I'm a little worried that this is going to be one of those seasons where the Grizzlies are bad, and yeah. I don't know what's going to happen.
I just think in the West, like, this could get away from them really quickly, and this could get very ugly from a just effort standpoint. It's just Morant is just like such a singular figure where it's like, could this get bad enough that they trade him? Is that a good thing? I don't know. Field goal percentage has been a problem. Part of it, still dealing with the small sample. He was like 3 of 14 in that Lakers game before he got pulled. So that's dragging it down a little bit, but he's barely over 40% from the field.
And first of all, I don't think he has any real trade value right now. I mean,
Not
now,
really,
no. And then the field goal percentage thing, you're right to bring up, and I saw a stat on this. His percentage of shots attempted at the rim has gone down. This is the 5th straight season it's gone down. He was at 43% of his shots at the rim in 2022. Now in 2026, he's at 25%, close to half the rate that he was getting to the rim before. So he's taking all these like floaters and long mid-rangers, and it's just going to kill your percentage.
It doesn't help that he's 5 of 32 from 3 either. Well, that is tough. He is 34 of 35 at the free throw line. So you can bank on that. But yeah, it just, you always know what you're walking into with Morant, whether it's off-court stuff, whether it's injuries. It's going to be a high variance type of pick. But if you took the leap on Morant, I don't think you can be feeling great about this so far. How about Desmond Bane? By the way, Alex, you were kind of all over this as far as, people are going to be really interested in grabbing Desmond Bane. Everybody's excited about the move to Orlando. Back-to-back really rough games for him. 14 combined points over the last 2. Played just 20 minutes in that Wizards game. That was a blowout, so that was part of it. But I was pretty alarmed to see where he ranks season long. I mean, well outside the top 100 so far.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things going wrong for Bane. I think that the encouraging thing, if you want to be like a Bane optimist, is the usage rate is fine. He's getting shots up. He's passing the ball. He's involved. The basically what's going wrong right now is his 3-point. I'm pretty sure he said before the season he was going to take a career high in 3-point attempts, and it's going to be almost a career low for him in 3-point attempts. 4.4 per game right now, and he's not shooting well, and he's giving you nothing defensively.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of like multiplying factors dragging him down.
Yeah, the 3-point shooting is what jumped out to me. I mean, 2 years ago in Memphis, and that was I think that was the year where like everybody was hurt, right? And he was kind of the lone wolf. Took 8.6 threes per game, sitting at 4.4 now. Even last year when Memphis was a little bit healthier, 6.1. You would think that volume increases, but you got 2 really high usage guys at the top of that offense. You got Suggs out there. I mean, he took 6 and 7 threes the first 2 games, and then the volume has just been way down since then.
Yeah, I do wonder. I mean, it's hard for one man to fix all your spacing, but it's so easy for defenses just to only care about him. In terms of like, if he's running off a curl and trying to get a 3, they'll just step in front of him, and they don't really care, because there is no other spacing. There's no one else to pass it to at the 3-point line to spread the court. So I do worry he's kind of in a jam where teams are so focused on stopping his 3 that it's not going to be easy for him.
I mean, the Magic as a team are taking 5 fewer threes per game than last year. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this on the Sirius XM radio show where they're still basically last in threes in the league. They can't. Bane certainly did not fix all their problems. And maybe when Suggs is healthier and starts playing more, but you're kind of asking a lot of Jalen Suggs at that point.
Yeah, they are second to last in the NBA in 3-point volume. Only the Rockets taking fewer, and that's by matter of a decimal. Like when the Kings are taking more threes than you, and they're taking like 70% of their shots from the mid range, that is not a great sign. How about Shaedon Sharpe? What is your level of concern on him so far?
I am the most shocking part, honestly, is the assist rate, which I cannot believe how little he's passing the ball.
Yeah.
And I know that they have Drew Holiday essentially running the show there, and it's actually been working pretty well, right? So it's like it's sort of hard to fault them and be like, well, this has to change, because I don't think it does, because Holiday and Avdi are doing a great job running that offense. In terms of the shooting, this is sort of the problem when you draft a guy and most of his value comes from his ability to just hit shots, and he's not hitting his shots. And I think that'll improve, but I'm not sure the assist thing is going to improve drastically.
The assist rate is half of what it was last season. That's for sure a concern. You're also asking him to hit tough shots over and over every single night. Like Shaedon Sharpe is not afraid to fire away, and he's not necessarily I'm going to pick my spot guy. He's I'm going to get my 15 to 17 shots up every single night, come hell or high water. So you're asking a relatively inexperienced player still to make a lot of tough shots, and you're taking away the assists. I mean, the percentages are going to be better. He was a 45% shooter from the floor last year. He's currently at 35. So that it's not going to be that bad all year. The free throw shooting has actually been much better. But the 3-point shooting, I don't know. I mean, he's at 27%, and that's never really been a big time strength of his. Previous 2 years, 33, 31%.
Yeah, the 3-point shooting does worry me. I will, like, just looking into his sort of shot profile, he's essentially taking the same shots as he was last year.
Yeah.
Like percentage wise at the rim, long mid rangers, threes, and stuff like that. And I mean, his 3-point shooting has always kind of been the question for his upside. That and like, can he learn to pass and play defense? So maybe there are more than one question. I would hold him just because I think he's still important to their offensive game and their scoring punch, but maybe not as much upside as we hope for.
One more I want to throw your way. Trey Murphy, level of concern there. We knew there would be a lot of moving pieces for the Pelicans with all the injuries last year. This team is just bad. They're 0-6. They're shooting 42% from the field as a team on the season. That number is up compared to where it was at the end of last week. But we've seen a couple solid games out of Murphy. The last two haven't been terrible, but a couple just complete stinkers where you're basically taking a 0 for fantasy purposes. Those were just not there, especially down the stretch last season. Like I want to say he was like a borderline top 20 guy over the final 2 months. And again, the Pelicans are healthier. They got some new pieces. I get that, but I did not think we would see this much of a fall off so far.
They're not involving him as much. I mean, I will say when you watch the Pelicans, you're like, well, especially recently, you're like, this is a lot of Jeremiah Fears. Yeah. And it's great because Fears is awesome, actually. And then it's a lot of Zion forcing it. And Murphy just doesn't feel involved as like a guy they're trying to get shots. And obviously he can do his thing. Like he'll drive to the basket, he could dunk once in a while, transition, hit his threes. But his usage rate is lower.
Yep.
The shooting percentage, I think, will come around. He doesn't have a block yet. I mean, he's someone who could project for almost a block a game. So like that's going to be dragging down his stats a bit. But again, you mentioned, I mean, like the Grizzlies or some of these other teams, like as a whole, this Pelicans team, I'm just very worried about.
So we talked a little bit about the Jazz earlier in the show pertaining to Ace Bailey, Isaiah Collier coming back, the Walker Kessler injury. I was off Lauri Markkanen. I've gone down that road too many times. That looks horrible right now because Lauri Markkanen's averaging 33 points, almost 7 rebounds, 2.3 assists, which would be a career high. Still not giving you anything on defense, but percentages are really good. At what point would you look to sell high on Lauri Markkanen? Is there still health concerns, tanking concerns in the back of your mind? Are we seeing just a different version of Markkanen?
I mean, he is ridiculously aggressive right now, and they're running a lot of plays for him. Like they know exactly how to get him the ball going downhill or for an easy 3. I would certainly be looking to sell high. I mean, the Jazz this is the thing, which has been the issue for the Jazz before when they had more veterans, but it's kind of the same right now. Is like they're bad, but they're not the worst team in the NBA.
Right.
If you want to use,
they need to be worse.
They need to be worse. I mean, if you want to use which at this early in the season, it's a little flawed. But if you want to use Basketball Reference's simple rating system,
Yeah.
they're 24th. You know, the Grizzlies are below them. The Mavericks are below them. Indiana, Brooklyn, Washington, New Orleans.
Yep.
So I would sell high still. Yeah.
I think it's also worth noting that they've played a really soft schedule to begin the season. Like they have played, I think, so they played 6 games. 5 of their 6 games have come against some of the worst defenses in basketball. You know, they played the Suns twice. They played the Clippers, who've been terrible on defense. They played the Kings. They played the Hornets. The only like pretty good defense they played so far is Portland. And, you know, Markkanen still went for 32 in that game. And part of the reason that some of these defenses are rating badly is because the Jazz have put up points on them. But I do wonder, you know, how viable that's going to be going forward. I don't think he's going to average 33 a game the rest of the way, but fading Markkanen does not look good on my ledger so far this season. Another guy I want to ask you about selling high on, or really, I got a list here. I'm just going to rattle off for you. Would you sell high on someone like Scottie Barnes, Jimmy Butler, Julius Randle, Mikal Bridges?
Those guys all feel pretty safe to me. I mean, Butler for injury reasons,
Yeah,
like could always technically qualify as a sell high, but I'm not selling high on Randle. I mean, I roster Randle.
Yeah.
The Scottie Barnes thing, I was a little worried about him, but now he seems completely fine. And I can't remember the last. Oh, Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like they're trying to get him more involved on offense. I don't think it's necessarily a fluke. You know, it's interesting. His like assist rate's way higher and he's shooting less. But I think those are all fine holds.
Yeah, the Barnes thing has been a nice surprise. I didn't really know what direction his career was heading. Still a really good player overall. Like I always thought there was a high floor there, but I will say the shooting efficiency is something to monitor here. 27% from 3 last year in 65 games. He is currently at 47% from 3. So not saying sound the alarms and get rid of Scottie Barnes, but I would expect some level of regression, at least from 3. I mean, he's shooting over 50% from the field. That probably moves closer to the mid 40s, but the Raptors have been fun, man. I mean, this is a top 15 offense. They're right in the middle of the league in net rating. I think this is, you know, as far as sitting at 3 and 4 goes, you feel pretty good about it so far if you're Toronto. All right, we got one more housekeeping item we got to take care of here, and then we will get back to some questions in the chat. We're also brought to you by Chalkboard. Cash in on your NBA picks this season with Chalkboard. All you have to do is choose more or less on your favorite player stats. You can win up to 5,000 times your money. For a limited time, new players receive a free pick and a 100% deposit match. You can see why over 1 million fans have already locked in with Chalkboard to turn their knowledge into cold, hard cash. Whether you're locking in the perfect slip with alternate lines, using the cash out feature to take your money and run, or hammering the daily promos, today is your chance to win up to $40,000 on a single entry. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Get into the game with Chalkboard Fantasy Sports, available now in 30 plus states. Download Chalkboard today. Use the promo code ROTONBA, ROTONBA. You'll get a free pick and a 100% deposit match. All right, we'll finish out returning to the chat here. Not going to say this username, but they are asking, how do you feel about Ausar Thompson?
I think this is pretty close to what we were expecting him to do. The only thing he's sort of down on, I think, right now, I mean, you know, his percentages are a little lower than we had hoped.
Yeah.
And the defensive stats are lower than we had hoped. But those are all stuff that, like, we could be talking in 4 days, maybe 4 games.
Yeah.
Maybe more appropriate 4 games from now, and it's a non-issue. I'm not really worried about him.
Yeah, I would say the only thing is he's up to 4 free throw attempts per game, and he's shooting even worse at the free throw line, 54%. So it's like, it's enough that it matters if you're in a category league. You'd hope that you'd see some progression there. There was a little bit of a leap from year 1 to year 2, and that's regressed so far. But yeah, I think on balance, you're too early to make an official call on that. Let's see. How do you guys feel about Peyton Watson as a roster for a 12-team 9-cat league? Do you foresee him continuing to play 23 or more minutes consistently this season?
I added him in our 15-team league. I threw out a bid for him, I think, in a 12-teamer, didn't get him. He's fringy. I mean, he's definitely in the streaming category.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to start playing more minutes than he is unless there's an injury on Denver. So he's a good streamer, but it's hard to hang on to him the whole year.
Yeah, 4-game week this week for Denver.
Yeah.
So I think he makes a lot of sense there. Then a 3-gamer, 4-gamer, 3-gamer the rest of November. I think at a 4-game week, I'm interested. You know, you're really chasing the defensive stats, right? Like he's not a volume rebounder, he's not a volume scorer by any means. But 2 steals, 1 block, 3 blocks, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 1 steal over the last 3 games. What about Dyson Daniels for OG Anunoby in a 9-cat league? Daniels is getting hot.
He's getting hot. Yes, that's fair. Still weird that he's not shooting any threes. I don't know if that's good or bad for him. Like 0.6 threes per game right now for Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, he's taking 4 on the year.
I'm encouraged by the fact that he's playing 36, 38 minutes a game. We know what Trae Young's out for 4 weeks minimum. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I think I would still rather have Anunoby.
Well, I mean, you're chasing the steals here, right? More than anything.
Yeah.
And Anunoby gives you, pretty nice floor in terms of steals, not quite Daniels level. You're certainly getting more in terms of scoring. You're getting a little bit more in the other categories. Interesting that Daniels is not taking any threes and is shooting worse from the field.
Yeah, well, he has no touch. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like it's one of those. I mean, he shot 34% from 3 and 49% from the field, but like when you watch the games, you're like, this guy
Yeah.
does not have touch. So it's not shocking to me that he is not. I mean, he's shooting worse from the free throw line as well,
Right.
57%.
Is Kevin Porter Jr. still a hold? I have space in my IR to hold him, but with Rollins playing well, I don't see how he starts when he comes back.
I mean, if you have space in your IR, hold him. Also, I would think about trading him before dropping him. Like, I don't know if your league has I don't know how your league does trades, but I would just float out like I'm interested in trading Kevin Porter and then see
Yeah.
what you could get back for him. Otherwise, if your IR fills up, you can probably drop him. Pains me to say, but
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at probably at least a month, right? I mean, he got injured and then tweaked it again while working out over the weekend. So coming back from basically a meniscus injury, I mean, if you have space in your IR spot right now, there's no harm in just throwing him in there until you need it for somebody more important. But I mean, we'll see. You'll have a better answer by the time that situation arises. We'll kind of have a better read on Ryan Rollins, but overall, I think it's going to be very tough for Milwaukee to go away from him.
yeah, from Rollins,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, we have a plea for help from Dennis. Please help. I'm down 0-2. So I think that means he's 0-2 on the season. Should I pull the plug on Reed, Tari, Shaedon for hot streamers or hold some or all of them? I missed out on Keyshawn George, Ryan Rollins, and VJ Edgecombe being too patient.
Yeah, Reed Shepherd is tough, as is Tari Eason. I would hold Shaedon Sharpe for sure. I think he's just too involved in the offense. He plays too many minutes. To me, that's a hold. Shepherd is not he does not look great. And he's not playing that many minutes.
Yeah.
And we understand what Eason's upside is, which is he like kind of needs an injury to be really good. So I don't mind dropping either of those guys for streamers, especially if your team does not look good. It's different if you're like 0-2 and your team looks fine and it's like there's some guys who should be playing better. But if it's 0-2 and your team does not look great, then yeah.
It says a lot about Reed Shepherd that I saw Reed and I instantly assumed it was Paul Reed.
Paul Reed.
I was like, yeah, you can probably drop him. Yeah, I'm with you. I think you said that well. No notes for me. Is Paolo Banchero plus Jaren Jackson Jr. a reasonable offer for Nikola Jokic?
That seems fair. It's hard to the 2-for-1 with the one guy's like super elite, really tough.
I don't think I would do it if I was the Jokic manager.
No,
I need to be bowled over to give up Jokic, Wembanyama, Luka, SGA.
If you came to me and you were like, I'll give you Maxey and Paolo or Maxey and JJJ, then I would like think about it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. This offer might be completely fair. It's just that's a weird thing about category leagues. But if I was the Jokic manager, no, I would not do it.
I would not either. I don't think this is an outrageous offer where they're going to be upset with you for sending it. If you can get Jokic for that package, I would try it. It'll probably be declined, and then you have to regroup. But I don't think it's completely off the table. So go ahead, submit it. Let us know how it goes. Should I drop Jordan Poole? Speaking of those 0-6 New Orleans Pelicans.
I would probably hold.
Yeah.
But if he becomes a drop, I wouldn't be shocked. The thing is, Fears looks like a lot better than him. And it's not just the numbers.
Yeah.
Fears looks really good. So I would hang on for now, see where we are next week.
Well, the other problem with Poole is that even the plus games from him have really just been points and threes. He's a very good free throw shooter, so that helps. But he's giving you absolutely nothing defensively. You're really not getting assists. You're getting 0 rebounds. He was like a 4.5 assist game guy like for the last 5 years, and that has just not been the case so far. That's not going to get better when DeJounte Murray comes back. The steals have been really disappointing. That could change things. Like if he gets back to being a 1 to 1.5 steals guy like he had been, then it's more palatable. But yeah, it's been rough. I still wouldn't drop him quite yet, just because I don't think you'll be able to do notably better unless there's somebody out there on your waiver wire who you have to go grab. I would give this another week, but yeah, not encouraging. Coming off the bench too over these last 3 games. Pedro asks what to do with Peyton Pritchard. I'm very guard heavy with Brunson and Fears, Collier, and Dylan Harper. He just got injured. I think that's in reference to Dylan Harper last night, had that calf injury against the Suns. What to do with Peyton Pritchard is the question here.
Trade him? I mean, you can't drop him.
No.
Obviously he's not shooting very well. 18% from 3 on 7 attempts is horrible. The fact that he's still managing to shoot 41% is actually, as a whole, is actually pretty surprising.
Yeah.
I would think about trading him. The issue is like you're probably not going to get great offers because he's shooting so badly. But just trade one of your guards. I don't think you have to worry about it.
He's just not that far away from being like almost a 20 point per game guy. Like the shooting has been that bad. It's not like, oh, he's shooting 31% and it'll be closer to 38. It's like he's been among the worst and most damaging shooters in the NFL, NBA so far this season, shooting 18% from 3. He has like 0 games where the shooting has been there. Like his best shooting game of the year is 2 for 7 from 3.
Yeah, and everything about Pritchard that we thought was going to happen in terms of his minutes, in terms of his usage, has been happening. It's just the percentage is low, so I would just ride it out.
Sophia says, where does Josh Minott project for you guys? I think I could probably trade KPJ for him.
I might do that. Yeah, I mean, KPJ, you may not have to roster him. He's going to be out for a month, at least. Minott, it's tough. They were playing. I saw the game against Philly, the NBA Cup game against Philly.
Oh, yeah. The game. Yeah.
Hugo Gonzalez was on one that game, so they just kind of benched Minott and let Hugo go crazy. But then he had Minott started again and had a good game against Houston in limited minutes. It's kind of hard to know what to make of it. And that was a blowout, so he could have played better. I think I would make that deal.
All right, another Orlando Magic / Dyson Daniels trade question. Currently, I am trading Dyson Daniels for Franz Wagner. Is that a W?
Yeah, I think so.
You're getting Wagner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, overall, yes, not knowing the league formats. Again, with Daniels, it's really, you're just banking on him winning you steals in a category league, right? And you're not getting a whole lot else this season. I think all the bonus stats last year kind of feel exactly like that, bonus stats. And even in the absence of those, and it should be better with no Trae Young over the next month plus, but yeah, it's really all about the steals. But overall, I would much rather have Wagner. Do you think I should keep Keyshawn George for the rest of the season or try trading him? If trading, who should I target? He's in a 12-team, 9-category league, and we have a follow-up. Should I trade him and Kason Wallace for Jabari Smith Jr. and Dante DiVincenzo? No.
I don't think so. No. I think Keyshawn George is very good. And I think the idea they're going to keep featuring him on offense, I think.
Yep.
And I think they're going to keep playing him 30 minutes a game. You look at his stats from the other night, and it was a massive blowout to the Orlando Magic. He only played 24 minutes. But I don't really think Koulibaly's cutting into his minutes or his usage. Middleton's going to start sitting games eventually. They're still playing like Marvin Bagley and stuff. Like I would just hold Keyshawn. He looks great.
He looks really, really good, man. He looks good. It looked like things were maybe crashing down. What was it, third game of the year when they played Charlotte? He had those 2 huge games and then, had like 6 points on 7 shots. Bounced right back the next game. 20 points, 9 boards, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block. I tend to think this is fairly real. I get the inherent distrust in the Wizards, but here's the nice thing. They are a 1-win team, even with Keyshawn George playing well. Like they don't need to bench him to lose games.
No, you should be worrying if you have CJ McCollum or something, not Keyshawn George.
Right. And McCollum's been bad. Middleton, they're already, limiting his minutes. One or both of those guys are going to be either off this roster or just benched and just kind of in street close, I think, at some point. So there's no reason to build this team around those two. So I would not be looking to get off Keyshawn George right now. Not for that package. I don't have a ton of interest in Jabari Smith. I do like Dante DiVincenzo, but it's not even close so far between those two.
Right.
All right. I think that's it for questions in the chat. Anything else you want to hit here, Alex?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, we got through some of our trending up, trending down guys. Hopefully you find this helpful. We'll be doing this every single Monday right here. You could catch us on the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball YouTube channel, live and archived. Same with wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Pods. Find us. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like if you're watching in video form. Make sure you give us a rating and a review in the App Store. That helps us out tremendously on the podcast side of things. Want to thank all of our sponsors this week, Vivid Seats, Sling TV, and Chalkboard. You can find all the info for those promos in the episode description. Alex, I will talk to you later tonight on NBA Radio. By the way, you can catch us most nights over on SiriusXM NBA, talking betting, talking DFS, 7 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern over on SXM NBA. That's channel 86. Have a good rest of your week. We'll be back with you next Monday.